What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode. This is episode 3 of the Texas Basketball Weekly. It's your host, Mashu Nega and Ani Umana. And our special guest today, we got Tobias Bass of The Athletic. Good timing that we did this pod. We had to wait till the U of H Syracuse game when the players' era finished. U of H won 78-74. The seniors carried it with Milos and what's my man? I'm drawing a blank, Shoe.
Manuel Sharp.
Milos Manuel Sharp with 26 points. Chris Sinak had 8 points and 12 rebounds. And for Syracuse, even in a loss in OT, they had 6 players in double figures. So it was a big time game. It was fun to watch. Shu, what's your take on the game? Then we'll go with Tobias.
Oh man, it was a fun game to watch. If you're not really rooting for either team, both going at it, physical game, kind of got a little muddied up a little bit with all the fouls and the physicality. Both teams just brought a lot of effort and a lot of energy. And hats off to Syracuse for matching that, which obviously Houston is known for. But Cougs put it out in the end, and I think I think the obvious in large part to the backcourt, the Emmanuel Sharp, like you said, Milos Suzanne. I think Emmanuel, you said, had 26. Both of them had 26. Milos is a homecoming for him, being back in Vegas, being a Vegas kid. Really, he was probably the most consistent throughout the night. He shot 8 of 16, 4 of 8 from 3, made all his free throws, contributed 7 rebounds, 5 assists, was just doing what he had to do to carry his team to the win. And the same thing with Emmanuel. He was really big getting to the free throw line, which I think kind of slowed down some of Syracuse momentum. And then the freshman as well, I thought Kingston was okay. He had some turnovers that I'm assuming he would probably want back as well, but he had some bright spots and moments. Biggs didn't really bring that much level of, I guess, offensive effort or offensive firepower or punch, especially that first half. Snack had it going a little bit. I think he probably had an 8-0 spurt or 8-point spurt in about 2 or 3 minutes, made a 3 and a couple of other big baskets for them, and he rebounded his ass off. He got 12 of them. So if you're saying, I'm 3 of 7, barely putting the ball in the basket, struggling in that space, but to still be able to rebound, I think was huge. JoJo was good defensively for them, but missed some shots and was in foul trouble, so he never really got into a rhythm. But overall, good win for the Cougs to start the Players Era Festival for this week. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, no, definitely. I know Coach Sampson, he seemed a little upset at that post-game interview, but it's better to end in the win column instead of, taking the L in there. And they're 6-0, the number 3 team in the country. And I think this game really showed how good Syracuse really can be in this season. I know this is a big year for them and for that staff. They were 4-0 entering this game. They end up 4-1, but they're a team that, can compete with anybody, and they showed that. Tobias, give your thoughts on the game, U of H, Syracuse. Just what are your thoughts?
I think the biggest thing for me is that Syracuse, they seem to be getting better. They brought in Nathan George he stayed in the ACC. He led the conference in assists last year, 11 points for him. J.J. Stahl, their leading scorer, comes back. He was battling with some injuries, but he gave him 11 points as well. Tyler Betsy, who didn't play that much last year at Cincinnati, leads them in scoring with 16. Kyan Anthony, 10 points. So they seem to be getting better, which is good to see because I think the overall landscape of basketball is better when Syracuse is better. So I love seeing that. But this was just about Houston. The seniors carry, like you said, to open this up. They gave them, 52 points of their 78. So that's what you need. Kingston was solid. He had some moments, 9, 6, and 6, 2 steals. Cenac, he was struggling there for. I don't think he scored in the first half, but he hits a 3, comebacks again, gets an offensive rebound, gets it to 5. I think he was an and 1, I believe. So he had a little 6 to 8 point, burst that really helped him. But it was a good back and forth game. Definitely one of the better games of the day. So I love to see it. And then shout out to JoJo. He had some foul trouble pretty much all game, but that big block at the end of the half, if he doesn't do that, they may lose. They may lose that. So, he's fearless, and that's why he's a big defensive Big 12 player of the year.
Yeah, it was interesting for me because with the shot attempt at the end, right? Because challenge JoJo at the rim. He's one of the shot blockers. He may be the best shot blocker in the country. I thought it was going to be like a stop and pop midi or a three. But the attempt inside was interesting, and JoJo does what he does best. And he was still aggressive even with 4 fouls. And he picked up that 4th foul fairly early, went earlier on in the second half, and he still kind of stayed on there. All right, that's our U of H Syracuse recap. Kyan Anthony, another player that was top 40-ish player in the country, Carmelo Anthony's son. I thought, like we talked about, he had a good showing, had 10 points. He's someone that has fit in and playing, really good minutes early on. Shu, what's your thoughts on Kyan Anthony's freshman year so far?
Man, I'm impressed. Again, they might have talked about it on the broadcast, but when you got so much pressure, big shoes to fill, everybody's looking for you to be like your dad. You know what I mean? And which is unfair, but at the same time, he's embracing it. He's coming off the bench, giving great production, giving great minutes, scoring the ball when it's needed, moving it when it's needed. I still think he takes pretty good shots as well. So he's got a chance to continue to grow in this role and likely play a huge part for their success and for the return or the bounce back of Syracuse basketball. But I like the way he's headed. And there's a level of maturity that I appreciate in watching him in his game. And, he's also sort of you can see he's kind of like a leader. Like they rally around him. There were plays he made where team felt like the team rallied around him as well. And so to do that as a freshman with all that pressure on you, I think it says a lot for the kid, his maturity, and then, for what his growth can be moving forward.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely agree. He has a lot of promise. Excited to see him really step out in a game like this, still be able to perform. Syracuse was also without Donnie Freeman, I believe. So, I mean, talented Syracuse group. Alex Klein, as one of those people I've known for a while. He's GM there, so he's done a good job putting this team together. And U of H escapes with the win, 78-74 versus Syracuse. All things Texas. This is what Texas Basketball Weekly is about. And we had some breaking news come up today. Charles Campbell put it out first, but top 20 player in the country, 5-star guard Austin Gooseby has transferred to Dynamic Prep. Dynamic Prep labeled as a top 5 team in the country. Austin Gooseby leaves from Melissa to Dynamic. That bolsters Dynamic chances of have not only just getting into Chipotle, but also potentially winning it. And I think this is a huge blow for Melissa as well. Some of us, we've been talking about it over the past week. I know there's been some rumors about him potentially leaving Melissa, and they kind of just pulled the trigger, obviously. So, reaction, Tobias, Shu, which one of y'all go first? Talk about the impact that Austin leaving for Melissa, what that has, and what does that do for Dynamic Prep as well?
I think just for Melissa, that was a top 5 team in the state. So, they don't want to hear that, but that drastically hinders your chance at the state title. Do they win state when he's there? I'm not sure. But you lose the best player in the state, he's gone now. So you have to try to regroup, look for Trey Edwards, try to really step it up. This may be his coming out party. If I was him, I would take this on the chin and I would just really just go full head of steam and embrace it. Austin left, he went on to do what he had to do. Well, now it's my turn. I'm the elder statesman of this group. It's going to be my time. So I would really fully embrace it if I was him. But I think in the health dynamic, they've been looking for, point guard the last couple years or so. You bring in Austin, a very good ball dominant wing guard player. So I definitely think that helps him for sure. Hopefully, this will try to get him into the McDonald's game. I know that's what he wants. So hopefully he can get to that as he looks to move.
Yeah. No, I agree with Tobias. The first part of it, obviously, it hurts Melissa and their chances. And that team was centered around Austin. And so now they're in a space to regroup. Hopefully get a chance to regroup before, they get into district play and all that sort of stuff. But like you said, somebody's got a chance to step up now. Whatever it looks like, there's a hole there. Who can fill it on that team? As far as Austin is concerned, it's familiarity with him. He's playing with some guys that he's played with in the past, in the spring and summer on Drive Nation. And so he'll have a chance to play with high-level competition against elite-level competition. playing for Dynamic. The part that I would love to see is to see how he can continue to grow as a ball handling wing, somebody that makes decisions. He's 6'5" ish, long, lanky kid, can probably put on some weight, but athletic and unselfish. And he's a willing and capable passer, and I think that's an area of his game that can flourish there. And then for that team, kind of to a degree, put different pieces in good spaces, moving Dakari off the ball a little bit, letting him come off screens, and so on and so forth. Seven and the other guys that are there, that it just brings another person on that team that has a level of competition or a skill set that garners attention, that can hopefully get them some more open looks. So I'm excited to see what it looks like. Again, hopefully it's I hopefully it's at the point and he's able to kind of distribute and be that sort of high level big guard, that can play great for his teammates.
Yeah, I think it big time gift for Dynamic. I know they've been trying to get Austin since the summer. Be honest with you, and sure, you hit the nail on the head. His familiarity is he played at Drive Nation and played with these guys like Seven Spurlock, like Dakari Spear, Marcus Spears. So it's some guys that he's already been playing with in the summer. Now that he's coming over here, I'd be interested where his role is. I think with a kid like that, I mean, ball is going to obviously be in his hands. We're going to see more of the playmaking. We're going to see him have the ball in his hands and see how he is as a primary, secondary ball handler, which we've seen that more. We've seen that in the past, but I think it's going to be a little bit elevated in the Scholastic year as well. Dynamic has a chance to really win this, the Scholastic. I mean, Chipotle shooting is something that's kind of like questionable. Adding Trey Nunn is huge. So that adds some more floor spacing because I think their 3-point percentages in OT wasn't great. But I think like adding another offensive piece or just a piece that can play on both ends, like we talked about Shu and at the first look recap, and someone that is capable of making threes, get guys open looks, then this makes Dynamic a lot better. It does hurt Melissa. One thing I kind of don't like, or I hate about it, I won't say hate's a strong word, but I wish I could have saw was we saw them in the first look, right? We saw them with him, Mustafa, Cohen, and Trey Edwards playing together, and they look good. They look good. They kind of a little bit rough around the edges, but it looked like something with promise. And we didn't get to see that in the regular season. Trey was sick. Cohen got hurt. Then Austin, he hurt his ankle as well. So we didn't really get to see this group during the regular season. It was short-lived, but Austin did what Austin, the family made a move that they felt was best for them. And I think to Tobias' point, when you got Trey Edwards, this is the time for him to step up, be more the leader. You're going to see those double teams. You got to make those decisions. And now, even though we know Trey as a scorer, he's going to have to rebound more. He's going to have to be, he's going to have to do more things. He's going to have to play make. So it's going to open more. He has to open more parts of his game. That's how they're going to win. And for Mustafa, too, he's going to take a bigger role as a scorer. We obviously know there's touch there, not just at the rim, but even mid-range and even the three ball sometimes. His motor and his aggressiveness and his ability to play through contact has to come up as well. So Melissa is not dead in the water because they lost him. Because Goosby's gone. It just means the next guy has to step up and play, and they got to up their game. So big loss for Melissa, but it doesn't hurt their playoff chances. And you never know, like, if everyone just buys into the role and plays at a high level, you just never know how the season can end up for you. That's something that I'm really learning here, for me and my organization. Like, you just never know. Guys just got to play the role. Guys got to step up. It's next man up. And for Dynamic, you have a great chance of winning. Chipotle, it's not given. It's going to be there's a lot of heat, especially like prolifics. And you look at Link's schedule, and then I don't know if Southeastern Prep will have be eligible because I know first year, but if they are, like, there's a lot of heat. There's going to be but this really helps their chances. So Austin Goosby, top 20 player in the country for 226, a UT Texas commit, a signee now, has gone to Dynamic Prep, has left Melissa. So Tobias, you're in Pasadena. Talk about the guys that stood out there. There's some high-level games at the McDonald's Invitational. So give the guys that really stood out to you, who's some guys that college coaches or fans just need to sit back and watch.
The biggest one that stood out to me was Donovan Chris from Brennan. He's really, really gotten a lot better. He's a UTEP signee. So I really impressed. He was just steady every single game. He seems to be getting better. I know that they ended up winning it this year. So I know one thing that's been a big thing for him was the shooting. You know, it's different now with Brendan. You know, last year you had Kingston Fleming, who we talked about earlier. Well, he's gone now. So who was going to step up in this place? I think Brennan, to me, 6A, they are probably the most complete team to me. I know Seven Lakes is very good, Atascocita is very good, and a few others. But I think Brennan, when you have four Division 1 players on that team, and you have a couple other guys that really just fill their role just consistently. And I love what Cody's doing as a coach. I think they're the best team, but I think Donovan Chris probably was the biggest standout to me. The other one was Roy Shelton, the guard, the 2027 guard for Atascocita. I feel like every time I see him, he gets better. He's just the poise, you know. And then I love how Martinez, he brings him off the bench, but he finishes all the games and he actually puts the senior guards off ball. So that tells you the kind of trust that he has in, you know, the 2027 guards. So he's definitely one that college coaches should watch. And if you have a chance to watch Atascocita, I definitely should go watch him.
Well, that's great. Yeah, Roy Shelton, someone that stood out to me in the summer. I really was impressed with him. And then I really like Donovan Chris. He was really good at the Noble Classic, the first session. I thought he was really good at my first look. I mean, he's just gotten better. Like I've talked to UTEP staff, and I feel like, man, you got someone that I think, you know, higher level schools should have been on. So I thought, you know, and he's just gotten better and better. Like look at Donovan's growth as like more of a catch and shoot guy, and now someone that can definitely be like your secondary ball handler at the high school level, especially senior in the summer with SA Future was like playing some primary ball handler role when Taylor Todd was out, or, you know, just when they want to get some different looks. So I like his versatility. I like the growth of his game, and I think he just get better from there.
And I think one thing people underestimate is when you change roles like that, going from basically arguably the third or fourth option to probably first, that's a big change at any level, the college, high school, or college. So it is something that people have to adapt rather quickly. But so far, early in this young season, he's done a great job with it. So that's very impressive to me because it's very hard to go from basically the third option to first pretty much in a few months time. So for him to be able to do that and win a big event like that was very impressive.
Yeah, 100%. Who else stood out to you at that invitational? Were there are there some sleeper guys or some
Uh,
226 available guys that were good?
Anthony Key, I think he's also a 27 for a Atascocita. He's similar to Jalen Finner, who starts at La Tech. They're very similar, around 6'6", 6'7" ish. High motor, good athlete. He's another one that college coaches should definitely watch. He's good. He's gonna be a major X factor for them as well. You know, they lost one of their starters. He got hurt, so he's gonna have to step up, and I think he'll do that, and that'll keep Atascocita afloat until he comes back.
Yeah, Anthony Key, 228.
Yeah, yeah,
First, my
yeah,
first time
yeah.
watching him at Sloan's camp about a year ago, and I think last fall. Was super impressive. Fenner is a great comp.
Yeah,
He does things that impacts winning. He can
yeah.
he can score without the ball in his hands, and when he has the ball in his hands, he can do. There's more to his offensive repertoire than people realize. Shu, you were at the Noble Classic. It's session 2. We are at Paul Quinn. I was doing some coaching, so I didn't get to really lock in. I did some color commentary, you know, shout out to Antler Sports Network, Jared Jones. But just give a couple guys that, you know, in this round that stood out that, you know, we didn't get the chance to look at in the first session.
Yeah. I'm gonna start with Frisco Memorial. Caden Deffenbaugh. I thought he was explosive. They had a runaway game that they had versus Harlan, but he had a loud 31 points. Slim, strong build. And he showed a lot of vertical pop. Really impacted the game, like on the ball, as far as a point of attack defender, with his activity, his ball pressure. He really pressed the ball and was able to get his, really good handsy, deflection, steals, and able to get out, turn that into easy transition points. Half court wise, he played aggressive, this aggressive mentality, really trying to get to the rim. He's got a really good first burst and finishing, knocked down some threes as well to go along with all that. I think if you hadn't seen him before, you would have thought he was a 5-star McDonald's All-American, but he just showed his whole repertoire as far as his game on both sides of the ball. And so if that can be something that's consistent for him and that Frisco Memorial team, then they got a chance to go a very long way because it's a very talented team that's got a lot of different pieces to it. Um, Not to leave that team yet, I'm gonna shout out Xander Brzezinski. He's the big out of Frisco Memorial. I think he's got some offers. UNLV, New Mexico State, A&M, Corpus Christi. I think that's kind of his range. But I'm a big fan of X. He's a big that plays his role to the T. He's got some vertical pop. He's fluid in his movement. Got some skill and touch to his game, and he plays with a super high motor on both ends of the floor. Tough, high IQ. I really love him off ball. I think he really shows how smart he is with his ability to space, to give room to ball handlers or other bigs, whoever has the ball, and then for the fact of his timely cuts and his timely movement, where you'll see him dive to the rim, and it's either he'll catch, two-hand dunk, vertical pop, and he'll finish it, or he's got he's got a chance to get an offensive rebound and a putback. And so he made a catch and shoot three that was kind of smooth and fluid. It takes on low volume, so we'll see how that looks as far as moving forward. But extremely solid, versatile big, who I think is under recruited. I'm gonna go to Young Buck here because he stood out to me out of San Antonio, Harlan, London Jackson. He's a 2029, probably about 6'5" wing, extremely talented, sort of this wing forward. He's really good positional size at this age, especially. He's kind of had this outside in game, uber efficient. Didn't really hunt for it. I think as talented as he is, I would like him for to hunt a little bit more, but he got it within the flow of the game. He shoots an effortless ball. Doesn't get off the floor, has zero lift, but it just looks like he's throwing a paper ball into a trash can. Just how easy he gets his shot off and he makes it at a high clip. And then when they started to run some plays for him, you saw him kind of get busy a little bit. Good footwork, good combo, combo dribble packages where he's been able to take his guy off the bounce. But defensively, and I think his motor can pick up. He's a younger guy, so I think that'll come in probably his talent. He's allowed his talent to kind of take him a long way. But as he kind of gets older and gets to better competition, I think that'll be one that'll be an area that I'd like them to see improvement. But somebody to definitely watch at San Antonio Harlan. I'm gonna go with another young buck, Josiah Rose. You got an extremely talented, talent-laden team in Faith Family. You got the Placid Twins. You got Xavier Young. You got Josiah Jones. You got a lot of guys on that team who can get a bucket, who can play. And so for him, the part that I like that translates well now and that he has this skill set in his bag is his ability to shoot the ball. He shoots it really well from range, and it looks super fluid. And so with him being able to shoot the deep ball, he obviously can play on the floor. He's a two-way type of guard. Again, probably about 6'4"-ish, super long arms. He's a silent assassin in the way where you'll look up, and he had 19 points in the game where I like, okay, he made a couple of big shots playing good D, and then you look at the scoreboard, and he's got 19. And so very quiet, very efficient. I think will climb the charts fairly quickly in that 2028 class. And I'm saying that in my opinion, on a national level, I think he'll continue to make more noise and move up the ladder there. But who we got? Austin Centers for Texas Storm, I thought was probably one of the best outings I've seen him play. He looked super locked into first the defense side of the ball, and I think that carried over. The energy on that side carried over offensively, but he was really locked into being versatile, switching, getting his hands in dribble pockets, and tapping the ball away, getting steals, and then just grabbing rebounds and running. He's really good in the transition, and he's really good at 15 feet in. I think anywhere he takes a shot 15 feet in, he's got the right touch, and he's super efficient in that space. And he plays so strong and big, he's able to kind of take advantage of mismatches as well. And so Austin, I thought, did extremely well this weekend. I think he's an Air Force commit, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a lot of really good talent, a lot of good competitive games at the Noble. I'll leave some room for you. I know you were there as well, but I got a couple more. But those are the guys off the top of my head that I think jumped off the page for me.
Yeah, London Jackson was really good, 229, small forward for Harlan. Lefty that can really shoot it. He has a pure shooting stroke, has good positional size, about 6'5". They list him at 6'6". I mean 6'5", 6'6". Very promising. One of the best 29s that I've seen in the state. Yeah, he was really good. I'm trying to think. Deuce Hunt, really good for Duncanville. Uh, Jaron Mitchell for Duncanville. Like Duncanville doesn't have a lot of size, but they are the toughest group. Neiman has, this team screams Neiman forward like all over. Physical, tough. Got a lot of guys that play bigger than their listed height. Rebound, make shots, clutch, and big win against Parrish. They beat Leadership Prep. They beat Red Oak. They have had a really strong showing so far. So shout out to Duncanville. But Parrish as well did good. What I liked about the twins are always the Almotor twins are always very solid, play physical, tough, make shots in the paint. The offensive game is growing. Sutter Wexler 228 guard made some clutch shots. Hit three threes, had 9 points, and that showing. Gavin Placide was really good. Just played in the paint, played more physical than he did in that dynamic prep game. Just really showed his presence inside. Xavier Young, even the minutes that he gets, he gets off the ground quick. He gets a lot of stuff done. He's a really good post option. He gets deep post position. There's some ability for him as a stretch big down the road. I'm really high on Xavier Young, and like you said, Josiah Rose is super impressive. I kind of want to go back a little bit as well to that dynamic and Faith Family game that was at the Snoop Johnson. That was at the Champions Classic. Really, really impressed with that game. Faith Family was up 11, I think, going to the fourth. Dynamic ends up winning by 3. Dakari Spear had 24, 26 points. Step back threes, getting to the paint, showed a lot of variety with his offensive game, getting to the free throw line, shooting threes, step back threes, catch and shoot threes in transition, really moving, spotting up. Marcus Spears is just like a widely athletic forward, number 1 player on ESPN. Has 17 and 12, doesn't even feel like it. Like he gets 20 and 15 and you don't realize he got 20 and 15. So Spears was effective. 7 Spurlock, his jumper has improved, especially that corner three. It's good to see him make the corner threes. And I think now with the addition of Austin Gooseby and someone that's going to be able to generate gravity from the defense, those threes are going to be there as well. Also with Faye, Tayshawn Williams, he was really good against dynamic prep, hit multiple threes. He was tough. He's a lefty that can really shoot the basketball, got good positional size. That was the first big game that I've seen him play and perform. So there's a lot there because he didn't need a lot of space to knock down those shots. I think some more guys that really stood out to me at the Noble. I'm just really trying to think here. Bo from Norman, Oklahoma. I do not know. I forgot his last name. Played at Southern Assault. Was super impressive. Billingsley got to the paint, made open threes, got his teammates involved. Everyone felt locked in. He really ran the show for them. I was really impressed by that. And the Noble was a good 2-day event. You saw a different types of teams. Birdville, like Sawyer Dodson and Avery Webb. Avery Webb's at St. Mary's from San Antonio commit. That like a lefty that's known for a shooting, but really got to the basket against Arlington Martin. Sawyer Dodson, someone that's a spot up specialist, but I saw more like in between game. Saw him like attack closeouts and score. I think that's the next phase of his game because he's just a marksman from deep. So I was really impressed with just the amount of talent that we have, the guys that kind of stepped up. But Tobias, also, huh?
Okay, let me add one more quick thing to what you guys are saying. So, Brennan was in town. I asked him, I said, who's the next star, potential star coming out of San Antonio? And it was him. It was Kingston Fleming's dad spoke very highly of him. His trainer the Brennan player spoke very highly of him. They think that he potentially is the next dude to come out of San Antonio. It was unanimous. Like everyone said him. So, it's love to hear that he was playing well out there. One more guy that stood out to me was Troynell Bell Jr. Mm-hmm. He had multiple 30-point games over the weekend. 6'7", versatile 4-man, can really shoot the 3-ball, can score inside and out. He's an interesting prospect. I think he's one of the more underrated players in the state. I think he's definitely a Division One player. I want to see where he ends up. I know there's been some high majors that are interested in. They think he's intriguing. So I'm interested to see how his recruitment goes. He's a 27, so he has another summer left. I'm curious. And then last 2 pointers, I don't think anyone's probably playing better in the city of Houston right now than Nas Pride. He's a UTSA commit. Last weekend, I think he had multiple 25-point games. He also led a big comeback to beat the Tascasita at Jim Hicks's season opener. So he's really separating himself as the best player in the city, and I want to see him continue to do that.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. He's back. He's healthy, and he looks good. Right. That's what I keep hearing.
He looks really good. I think him and Jose Martinez, he's another underrated guard, lefty. He has like some swagger to him. You know, we kind of miss that in Houston. You don't really see too many guards play like Jose. He's really fun to watch. Like even if you took like Nas off, I would go watch that kid play. He's real swaggy. Some D1s are calling about him as well. I think Grambling offered him. Incarnate Word is flirting with him a little bit. So I really like that kid. He has the goods. He's another underrated kid in the city and in the state. So I like to want to see where he ends up as well.
All right, I got a couple more for the Noble, Ani. I think I'm a backdoor. I'm gonna piggyback off you where you talked about Dunkerville, and that it was an awesome game. Last game to end the whole Noble, corner three by Jaren from the corner to end the game, and it was hard fought. I think what you said about Dunkerville, the team and the structure and maybe the talent may be different than the years past, but there's something about them and that DNA that they have where they're fighting. It's almost like every single possession, no matter if it's a bad play on the previous one, the next one, they're coming right at you. And I think what they did that helped them kind of take over the top with against Paris was they imposed their style of play, make or miss. The ball was flying down the court. Chris Hunt was good. He had a tough assignment guarding them. You know, Almatar twins took turns defending him, and they were super locked in. And so he was still able, I think, to get 19 points, if I'm not mistaken, that game on a lot of really tough shots. But I thought somebody who was really big for them was Jordan Brooks, undersized forward. He made it very difficult for the third person on that Parish team, Hudson Lucas, to really get comfortable. Got in him. He's stronger than he looks. He's tougher than he looks, and he made him very uncomfortable and took him out of rhythm. I think Hudson Lucas probably had I think 5 points, and that might have came in the fourth quarter. But shout out to Jordan Brooks and his toughness and his play. I think he had 10 points, but for me, a lot of it was on the defensive side of the ball. To piggyback off Norman's win against DeSoto, they had a game winner, and it was by Montrell Combs-Pierce. He's a 2026 guard, probably 6 foot under, but extremely tough, extremely competitive. You can just feel the competitiveness and see the competitiveness on him as he played. Another one of those guards who are extremely pesky, guarding the ball, point of attack, really got his hands on the balls as far as being able to deflect them and get steals. And so he imposed himself and with that backcourt duo of him and Bo. He imposed himself on the game, and I felt kind of willed that team to win, and obviously hit the game winner on this full court, pull up, 18-footer. So I thought he was tremendous. Who's another one? There was we talked about London. We talked about Josiah. Zion Abekwe at a big-time prep. 6'4", long arm, kind of has this wiry strength. But he put up a loud, I think he had a 30-piece in a win. But a quick first step, wiry, strong. He played through a lot of contact and finished a lot of plays. His whole MO was trying to get to the rim. He put so much pressure on getting to the rim and getting to the cup. I think he had about 13 free throws he took. But he was very big in willing his team to that win. He's a Hampton commit. So, and then Bryce Dixon and Silas Rodriguez, the two last guys I'm going to talk about. Silas was really good. He's uncommitted. He's a 6'5" shooting guard. First time watching him in some time, but really crafty shot maker. He's not going to wow you with his athleticism. He's a below the rim guy, but really good footwork, really good in being able to use pump fakes, jab fakes to get his shot, bumps, kind of got the Shea Gildas bump to get to the fadeaway, but he's really good in the mid range and really good as far as catch shoot threes. He ended up breaking his nose, I think, towards the end of the first game. Came back the next day with a mask on, played through it, and he got hit again and he ended up getting a concussion to being out. But super tough kid. Um, Again, another uncommitted senior, unsigned senior, and then Bryce Dixon is a La Tech commit, 6'5". He's the Colony's option A, B, C. No question, he's their leader. But noticeably, I want to say give a shout out to his jump shot. I think there are attempts that you probably don't like when you watch him play. But one thing I'd probably say his jump shot looks a little bit smoother, a little bit cleaner getting out of his hands. And I think whenever he gets to the next level and he plays with other guys who have the ball, who are primary options, it'll be a lot more efficient in his play. But I'm glad that he's shooting the ball well when there's good shots taken. But he's not lacking of any energy or any effort. And he's another guy I just want to give a shout out to from the Nova this weekend.
Yeah. Bryce had 48 of the 52 points. Is he like the all-time Colony score or something? Like I don't have the official, but congrats to Bryce for breaking the record or records, and shout out in advance, like congrats in advance for whatever records you're going to be breaking throughout this year, because he is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I mean, he is all those options. And you know what? You know what I respect about it? His teammates know it. They embrace their role. They get their shots when they can. And Bryce, when I talked to him last week, they lost. I forgot who they lost to. Maybe it was, I've drawn a blank. But he mentioned, he said, I'm learning, like I committed, I signed. I'm just learning how to play in this type of role, this lead man role. Like I feel that I'm reading double teams. The ball is put in my hands. I'm learning how to dribble. He said that's why I didn't leave, because I feel like I'm getting more of an experience learning how to be the guy. Obviously, as a freshman, he's not going to be the guy at La Tech, but he's learning how to make reads that he felt like he wouldn't make if he went to a loaded prep school situation where he just kind of been playing the role that he's been in the past. So he wanted to do something different, and it's working out for him. I mean, you can tell he gets frustrated, but what I do like about him is that even when they lose, even when they're struggling, he's still being a good teammate. He's still energetic. He's still fighting, because a lot of guys can just say F it, and he's not one of those guys. So shout out to Bryce. And congrats to Bryce in advance for the more records he's going to break this season. Also, a few other guys that had done well. Sun Jinkle, St. Michael's, they beat Frisco Heritage in the Alamo City tournament. So that was big time. I heard he played fantastic. Bryson Campbell, 228 guard from Angleton, had multiple 30-point games. There's a few other guys that stood out that's been playing well. So just some of those guys that spotlight that people have been calling me and asked me about, or said have been doing pretty good, and I've been keeping track of. So that's the high school. Tobias, Baylor played Creighton. Obviously Baylor in Waco. Creighton has Hudson Greer. Hudson had a pretty good showing. Talk about that game. What's your notes from there?
The biggest thing was just Hudson. I mean, this was a kid we thought was supposed to redshirt. A couple guys get hurt. Next man up, got to play. He led him in scoring today. I think he was 7-8 from the field. That's just a testament to, I think, just who the kid is. The basketball season college basketball is hard, and the season is too long. Things are going to happen. Unfortunately, people get hurt. People play bad. People foul out. It is what it is. If you just stay patient, work hard, and just don't complain, you're going to get an opportunity. That's at any level. That's at the high school, college, or NBA level. Season's too long. Things happen. So for him to play that well after maybe a week and a half ago being expected to redshirt, I think that was very impressive. They did lose 81-74, but he played well. I would like to see him continue to earn more minutes as the season goes along. So I was definitely proud of him for that. On the Baylor side, Cameron Carr, he's not from Texas, but I'm just a mega fan of that kid. Baylor did not have a single player return to this season. He was actually their longest tenured player. He transferred at the break last year for December. So at the time, he had been at Baylor maybe 8 months. But that kid's an NBA player. I remember I went to go watch him in practice maybe 2.5 months ago. Just 7'1" wingspan, I believe, can really, really shoot the ball, uber athletic. knows how to play, and I feel like he's just getting started. He had 21 today and a couple master dunks, 21 and 9. So I'm a big fan of that kid. I think he's a pro. So maybe if it's not this year, definitely next year. But he's a guy that I would definitely keep my eye on. And the last one is Isaac Williams. Played at Corpus last year. He's at Baylor this year. He's having a really good season so far this year. I think he's averaged 10 points or more in 2 of their 4 games. So he's another one to watch. And shout out to Baylor for recruiting that kid a year early and taking a chance on him. He plays a lot of minutes now, so they took a chance on him, and they're developing him pretty well. So he's another interesting prospect from the region to watch.
Yeah, Hudson having the game that he had was big. I was proud of him. He stepped up. He played well. Made shots. Looked confident out there. And Hudson's a confident kid, but just to come out, projected a red shirt, but then come in and you playing a large role. That's next man up. And I feel like when we talk about these high school standouts, when you get to the college level, it's just so different. The business is different. The game is so different. I mean, college basketball is probably the best level of basketball we've seen in college basketball in a while. Like, we look at the freshman class and you see some of the overseas guys that come in and are making an impact. It's the older guys. Like, college basketball is at a high level of basketball right now. But that's what I think what I've tried to say in the past with these guys in high school when they go to college. You just got to be ready. It's going to be so different. Like, we remember talking about Hudson Greer every time we seen him play. Nationally ranked kid, 4-star player. At one point, he had a chance to. There were talks of him maybe potentially being a burger boy, going into junior year and stuff like that. And then he's expected to redshirt at Creighton, doesn't redshirt and plays. So everyone's journey looks different, and I do want to really explain to these guys that are high school right now, like, this shit doesn't get sweet. It doesn't get sweeter. Like, you have to earn it. It gets tougher, and don't expect a handout when you get done and when you graduate from high school, you go to college. It gets really tough, and I just hope guys understand that. Like, yeah, you're going to get the praise now, but you go to college, you're going to go through a different level of adversity that you've never seen before. So be prepared. Start now, which, like I heard from Bryce Dixon and some of these other guys. These guys there's some high school seniors like, all right, I got to mentally be prepared for what I'm about to go up against next June and in June. And I just want to encourage more guys to think that way instead of just being like, whatever, it's going to be the same, once I leave high school.
Because I want to throw some numbers at you. So this is from last year. The average Power 6 freshman only played 11.3 minutes. The mid-major level, 11.1. The low-major level, 11.4. It's hard. It's really, really hard. That's the average freshman at the Power 6 level. They average 3.9 points. Mid-major, 3.4. Low-major, 3.5. There were only 74 freshmen last year that averaged 10 points per game. 29 in the Power 6, 27 between the mid-major level, and 18 at the low-major level. You're not going to come in there for the most part and be a dude. It's hard. It's very unlikely, especially with the transfer portal now. Teams are trying to get older. It's hard. Doesn't mean it can't be done. Doesn't mean you can't earn your minutes, but you are going to have to work hard. Some of you are going to have to buy into roles that you probably weren't accustomed to doing, something that you probably didn't think you were going to have to do. Some of you are going to come in, y'all going to be defensive players. You're going to be energy guys. You're going to be sharpshooters. Just because a coach puts you in that role, that doesn't mean that's the only thing that you're capable of. That's what the coach sees you need to do to help the team win. You'll be able to grow into that role, that, whatever player you're going to be. But for starting off, you just may be an energy guy, a rebounder, a defensive player, a sharpshooter, whatever the case may be. On that role, work hard, don't complain, and you'll be fine. Just, again, the season's too long. Your career's too long. You'll be able to get some more minutes.
And to add to that, as far as the role is concerned, like, everybody has one. Like, even guys in the NBA, like, whatever level you're looking at, there's a guy that has a role. Whether you're Kyrie, whether you're Cooper, whether you're PJ Washington, you know what I mean, or he's got to adjust now. Whatever level you want to go and look at, you got the guys who are high-level energy bigs and rebounders. So just be a star in your role, and that allows you – because coaches are looking for that. And not every coach is not looking for 5 guys who put the ball in the basket. Yeah. Like, I think that's a plus. And that's why you see a lot of guys grow in their versatility, because they're going to have to do more than one thing. But at the end of the day, star in your role, kill it, and then you can add to that as your time frame goes on. Or maybe that role made you add something new to your plate already. So that's one part of it. And to Ani's Ani's point of everybody's journey is different is just to add to this, it's a process. Every part of this step in your basketball journey is a process. Who you were at 15 years old is, you look back is different than you are as a junior, than you are as a senior. And then obviously when you get in college it's different. But who you are at 18, 19, depending on how good you are and what elite level you're able to compete at or say if you get drafted. But you just have an opportunity to grow into a new space. And who you are at 19 as a freshman, 18 as a freshman is going to be completely different than who you are as a junior or as a senior. And so don't rush the process. You're going to have time to develop, but just if you focus on the product, if you focus on yourself being the product, um, everybody that you want to be customers, everybody that you want to come see you is going to get a chance to see you because you can't hide in this game. So trust the process, do your role, and at the end of the day, I think when you hammer away at it, I think it'll come out to the expectation that you're looking for.
Brand Alan Branch used to always tell me when I first was really working with him, he said you can only trick the game for so long. And I think that still rings true today. Either you can play or you can't. Um, you can try to do all these things, say all these things, promote. We do that, but at the end of the day, like when you go in between those lines, you're going to show us if you can play or not, or how good you are, especially against certain level of competition. And I think what I always want to use my social platform to do, yeah, like we're going to promote kids. We're not going to talk bad or ugly about high school players. We know they're teenagers, but I do like for us who have seen high level middle school kids don't really pan out as well in high school, or high level middle school, high level high school doesn't pan out in college. We see it every year. I just hope that people understand that when they say it's a process, it truthfully is a process. Like this is a long road. It is very hard to go from high level middle school player to being a high level high school player. And a high level high school player is even tougher to be a high level college player because practices, attention to detail, something that a lot of these guys are not used to. That's part of that learning curve that they're going to have to get accustomed to. So it's really good. Like Hudson Greer, just one of those, known about him for so long, nationally ranked, did all this, and was going to be a redshirt player, and then comes in, is ready, doesn't pout, doesn't get mad, and he steps up and plays. And I just would encourage everybody, like these high school players that are committed and signed are going to college next year. Be ready. That could be you. That could be you. So just be ready for that. And but just encourage you guys to continue to work hard. Shu, also, Tobias talked about Cameron Carr. And 6'5", 7'1", 7'2" wingspan, been performing well, shooting a high clip from three. What's your assessment? Give a quick assessment on Cameron Carr and a little bit on Tunde as well, someone that is projected to be a lottery pick.
Man, I love Cameron Carr. You know what I mean? I think when he was at Lincoln, he was committed to going to Tennessee. I thought, okay, great. He's picked a great spot because they'll be able to physically work on his body because he was, wiry, in that space as a high school kid. Still a little wiry now, but I think he's a little bit stronger. He looks a little bit leaner and has a little more muscle on him. But when you talk about the length, when you talk about the positional size at 6'2", or 6'5", I'm sorry, roughly probably a shooting guard. And you talk about the athleticism to go along with it. I just think there's so much more room for him to be an impactful player moving forward. You're talking about you could already fit him in a role as far as a 3-and-D guard, 3-and-D, and then he's got that athleticism that's able to pop, that is of the next level. When he gets his strength right, when he gets his body right, or improves it, I should say, I think he'll have a chance to make it an extreme impact. I think he's got a chance to carve out a role at the next level, I would say. He's giving himself an opportunity to. And the same thing with Tunde. I think Tunde is he's figuring out at this level. He's obviously talented. He's physically gifted. You see the flashes of his athleticism, his shot making, and then sometimes you'll see spaces where, okay, maybe that wasn't a good shot or maybe that wasn't a good play. And so that's just part of the learning curve. But when you take all of that, the natural gifts, you take the already high level baseline skill set, And then you obviously take his age and how young he is as far as comparatively for the game. I think again, these are probably you got one potential lottery pick. You got one guy who may be able to sneak his way into the first round. I haven't looked at draft boards recently to see where Cam may be, but I think if he continues this route with his shooting, with his athleticism, with his length, he's got a chance to sneak in there. And then I'm a big fan of Tunde and his motor and his aggressive style, and obviously his athletic gifts, and just his already really good baseline skill set. And again, another two-way guy that can play both sides of the ball. So I'm excited to watch more Baylor and to see what they look like. Especially through this tournament, and then as they go on and play other high level comp, and they're down the road for me. So I'll pop my head in that gym pretty soon.
Yeah, Tobias, who's some other schools players that have stood out that you watch from the mid major, high major, low major level that are from the state of Texas, maybe playing at a school that isn't in Texas, or some Texas schools that just stood out? You're on mute, T.
I'm just playing on you, but no, one of them is Cruz Davis from Hofstra. He's been playing well this year. They haven't been winning like they want to. They've been okay. I think they're 2-3 or 3-2, but he's played well though. 19.4, 4.6 rebounds, 4.8 assists, shooting 47% from the field. I think he's shooting 41.7% from three. So he's definitely another one that's played really, really well. He was a preseason first team All CAA. So he's one that they can win. He might be able to win Player of the Year in that league. So he has 2 years of eligibility, or I'll say another year of eligibility left. So he's definitely been one that I've been keeping my eye on. He's played super well so far to date.
I like that. Cruz Davis definitely has a chance to be a Player of the Year. SMU right now is up on Radford. They'll have an opportunity to be 7-0 on the season. Boopy Miller has been really good. SMU is looking to make a NCAA tournament appearance this year and potentially a run. Also, Texas State. No, this is a big year for them and their staff too. Yep. They're 6-2 right now. Had a win against UTSA, fairly convincing. That staff, they put together a good team and they're competing. They're fighting. I know they're going to be in the Pac-12 next year. Is that correct?
Yep.
Interested to see how Coach TJ, been a really good coach, has won regular season, CFL titles. You just see how they operate. Shu, is there any other teams or players that stood out to you from the state of Texas?
You could throw in there Texas Tech. I know they've kind of had 2 early losses against high-level comp, number 1 Purdue and Illinois earlier. So I think they're 4-2 right now. But you got the low-hanging fruit. You got potential National Player of the Year, and JT Toppin is a 20-10 guy. Is uber efficient around the paint. Able to get in there, get his little lefty hook off, and just play super efficient scoring the basketball. Christian Anderson's another one. I think what I saw last time might be averaging about 17 points a game, probably about 7-8 assists a game as well. So he's a really good one. Up and down as far as his shooting's concerned, and I think this is kind of this full-time role with him at the point where last year, sophomore year. So last year as a freshman, he was able to kind of play off other lead guys or the older guys. And so now this is his full time at the helm, which I think as the season goes on, he'll probably play better and better as the season goes on. So those are 2 at Tech that I feel like are obviously on the national radar as far as guys that could win some awards, potentially into their draft, so on and so forth. So Tech is a good one. We'll see. They'll bounce back after a couple of losses, but that's a good one to track down the road.
Another one I'll say is Corey Hadnot at Purdue Fort Wayne. You're averaging 17, 3 and 3. He scored 20 points on Utah, 32 on Western Michigan. So he's having another phenomenal year.
Absolutely. And then right now, UT Rio Grande Valley's staying with it against number 11 Illinois right now. I think they're only down 11 with 3 minutes left. I don't think they're going to end up winning the game, but shout out to them for really being competitive. They're 3-2 on the season. UNO is in a dogfight with Mississippi State.
Yep.
Our boy Michael Thomas. This is a tie game with 22 seconds yet left. Boy Michael Thomas, Denton High School. From Denton High School, his dad coached him. He's been someone that has been causing problems. That's like a double machine. We always wonder what position he was, but I think he's just always one of those players. You just throw him out there. He's going to be big, physical, rebound, and make shots around the basket. So shout out to UNO. They had the upset win against TCU. Now they're looking at the upset win against Mississippi State. This pod, what I love about it, again, there's just so much talent in the state of Texas locally, even the guys that are not playing. That gone to prep schools and are coming down, like, Thanksgiving Hoop Fest, which I feel like all of us are at least going to be there for a day or two. There's some high-level players that are playing in the prep level, in the EYBL Scholastic, OTE, in college at the low, mid, high major level. We haven't really dug deep on the NBA level yet, but we'll get into that. But mass amount of talent. We have really good coaches here from the high school to college level, guys that are even coaching the NBA that are from the area. So Texas Basketball Weekly, not Texas Boys Basketball, but Texas Basketball Weekly. That's what we bring. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Any closing thoughts? Shoot, T, what you got?
I'm good. Happy holidays, everybody, coming up. I'm excited to be around fam. And then hoops. That's kind of fam, food, and hoops. That's kind of the trio for the next few days. Shout out to Glenn. Glenn always puts on a heck of an event with Hoops Giving. So I'll be all up in Duncanville this weekend. And that's it for me.
Yeah, just definitely, I agree with you. The holidays, family, hoops. Shout out to those hospitality rooms, wherever they may be across the country. Shout out to the people that are preparing their food for the media and the coaches that'll be there. So happy holidays, everybody.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys. Happy holidays. We'll see you guys next week with a Thanksgiving Hoop Fest recap. Peace, y'all.